And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is the 30th of April, Thursday, 2026. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. That means tomorrow will be May 1st. Yeah, I got that right. Hey, as always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, war, tariffs, earnings, big movers, up and down, and all that crap. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. Just put our name in. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. We'll be nice back. We could disagree 1,000%. Let's just have some respect. Unlike, quite interesting, I put up a post today, a very simple post. The Fed, because all this talk about a new Fed head and stuff, the Fed should be abolished. This is what I wrote. Overrated, doesn't create a job, produces nothing, creates no wealth. All it creates is distortions. We hope Warsh, the next guy, realizes the people are the economy, not the Fed, like Powell thought. Less is more. It's not a bad statement, right? You know who Ronen Sana is? He used to be a CNBC head anchor. He answers my little tweet and says, complete and utter nonsense. I guess that's not disrespectful. Well, kind of disrespectful. Complete and utter nonsense from Ronen Sana. I wrote back, sounds like you disagree. Is it okay to disagree? I will never comment on anything you say is utter nonsense. Have a great day. Anyway, the Fed should be abolished. They do not create any jobs. They do not produce any wealth. All they have done is created distortions. And by the way, I could have added, they've sat on their duff for the last 25 years, enabling, and I don't blame them, but enabling the corrupt in D.C. to take us to $39 trillion of debt. It's easier to take it $39 trillion of debt when you have rates at 0% and you're printing money. Anyway, I've never met Ronen Sana. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he could have been a little bit more respectful. It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Anyway, of importance, because the Dow was up 790 today. That would be about, for the Dow, let me make sure I got the number right. That is going to be about 1.6%. That is a really good move. And not to throw cold water on it, because it all matters and it all counts. But we just want you to remember something. Caterpillar reported earnings, beat estimates on sales and earnings, and the market liked it. Caterpillar was up 10% today. That 10% for Caterpillar, 520 Dow points. Use a factor of 6.5. 8 times 6, 48. Half of 80 is 40. 520 Dow points on a 10% move. 520 of that 790. You got that? 520 of the 790. The point I want to make is that if Verizon in the Dow, actually I can go to Nike. Nike is now the lowest price. Nike in the Dow, if it was up 10%, it would be about 30 Dow points. You catching my drift? So you have two stocks in the Dow. If one moves up 10%, it's 520 Dow points. If another moves up 10%, it's 30 Dow points. And by the way, between Goldman and Caterpillar today, it was 650 of the 790. And again, we're not throwing cold water on it. We're just explaining how it works. That it is so darn price weighted, thus that. But a good day nevertheless. What did not work today in the Dow was Microsoft, finished down 17. I think it was worse. Microsoft at one time today, and that's on the earnings, by the way. You know, I hate my new charts. You know what they do? They had these great charts before, and now they put in these new charts. They updated it, and they made it less simple. Anyway, looks like it was down 24 at one time today. So rough going for Microsoft, and I must tell you, what had my interest in Microsoft was that the numbers were pretty darn good. And it still went down. That happens every now and then. In the Dow also, NVIDIA, with a strong NASDAQ day, was down 9 and change. I own some NVIDIA. I won't stay around. I saw no news except China. Something about China and about the U.S. that may do something that restricts. NVIDIA was acting terrifically. Today was a real bad day for NVIDIA. Fails the last little breakout it just had so far. What else? Visa, down 5, was up nicely yesterday, but MasterCard was down 22. And they usually move hand in hand. Yeah, MasterCard, very bad reaction. And what else? Salesforce.com down 4 and change. But again, the big story was between two stocks. By the way, the two highest price stocks, remember what we said? We'll call it about 650 Dow points. But there's also a lot more going on because Meta was down 60. Interesting enough, great earnings, great sales growth, but the worry is how much they are going to spend going forward. What had my interest is that, wait a minute, all the other companies are spending like crazy. Why are they up? Beats the hell out of me. So while Meta went down 60, let's call it 60. Google, Alphabet was up $34. That was a nice little, almost 10% move. And most of these moves are on gaps, meaning they don't trade. If something's up 34, it opens up a lot overnight and in the morning and all that. And that was that story. S&P up 73, NASDAQ 219, NASDAQ 100, 265. I'm just looking around, and I know there's more earnings after the close. Apple reports, but I don't know if we're going to be around for when Apple reports. But there was a lot of jello moving on the plate today. I mentioned Caterpillar. I mentioned Google. How about Quanta Services? One of those heavy construction for, this, that, and the other thing. Up 15% today. Qualcomm. Now, this one I don't understand. Was up 15%, about $23. Was better than that, but still a good move. Earnings were down 7%. Revenues were down 2% year over year. And then I look for guidance. Did they give great guidance going forward? It didn't look that way. But great move. I can't argue it. And then there's some that I bet you never heard of. Wesco International, up 14. We'll do some others. And today, I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm just thumbing through, seeing what's going on in the aftermarket. Few up, few down, and all that. But the outcome of today, at the close, the Dow is not at a new high. It's been lagging, but has a good setup to go through 50,000. The Dow. The S&P 500 at the close today broke a little bit above the last 2 weeks and hit a new high. The NASDAQ is about at the high of Monday, and that would be the high of the year also. The NASDAQ 100 did edge above the high of Monday. The Russell 2000 looks set up to break out again. The mid-cap 400, a little bit weaker than the Russell. That's the mid-caps. But good day today. As bad as advanced declines were yesterday, is as good as they were today. Simple as that. Gold had a strong day. Silver had a strong day. As bad as the stuff screen, we have this thing called the stuff screen. As bad as it was yesterday, as good as it was today. Maybe had to do with oil dropping. We'll take it. Yields dropping, don't know. But just, there were blow-ups, but just good reactions to earnings reports. Eli Lilly, stock's been very weak. Was up $82 today, up 9% and change. Good numbers. Stock's been very weak. I was going to say Royal Caribbean had a good day, but really didn't. Finished up $9, 3% and change, but I think it was up $20 at one time. So looks like it did get sold into. But again, the big story is the indices. Looked like they got a shot for another move higher. Looks like they got a shot. Notwithstanding, there's more earnings reports to come out. We'll see what happens from there. You know, I've been being asked incessantly about the fact that Paul Tudor Jones was out and stating that he thinks we're going to be worse than 1999. This is a guy who, by the way, I believe called the crash. And for everybody that asked, I just said to them, let the market decide. You know, all this talk about what somebody's predicting. If the market was going to crash, certain things have to happen. It's simple as that. Certain things would have to happen. Number one, price would have to break the 50-day moving average. That's for starters. We know this by the study of bull and bear markets and tops in the market. If we're going to crash, all the leading stocks would be getting in trouble. If we're going to crash, they'd be breaking down all the financial stocks. I would be able to report to you all this if we're going to crash. So just letting you know. We also want to let you know that we have gone back to 1987. We have gone back to 1987. And you know what we did? We studied it. And very tough to do it without any bias because you're going backwards. I think we can safely say that we would have been out before the crash. Because a month before the crash, you know what happened? Things were breaking down. One by one, stock after stock. Things were breaking down. Simple as that. And then, as we got closer into October, and I believe the date, I'm looking right now, was October 6th, the big indices broke the 50-day. Clue. And then drifted lower for a few days. Things worsened, and then we crashed. So the indices only broke the 50-day about a week before the crash. No, about 10 trading days. Something like that, give or take. But a lot of stocks were going by the wayside before that. And what we did is we went back and started just going through, thumbing through all kinds of names that traded back then. Important names. So just letting you know, if Paul Tudor Jones is right, and we will not ignore him, but we will let the market decide. Simple as that. And as we said, we studied it. IBM topped out early September. That's what we mean by that. And we just go through a lot of names, and a lot of names, and a lot of names. And I need to let you know, when the indices go into new high ground, there's no chance we crash. You got that? Impossible. So don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. We'll let you know. And interesting enough, the guy carries weight. Do you know how I know he carries weight? We got a lot of inquiries about it. It's in our file manager. Remember, certain things have to happen first. They don't happen in a flash. Up next. Hey, what else is going on? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. All right. Yeah, Apple hasn't reported yet, but are you ready for some important ones? Western Digital closed at 434. I have it at 407 aftermarket. SanDisk, almighty SanDisk, closed at 1,096. I have it 1,028 in the aftermarket. A couple of them down. Twilio, one of the strongest software stocks in a sea of weak software stocks. I got it up $13 to 161 in the aftermarket. How about Roku? 116 at the close, 128 in the aftermarket. Reddit, been very weak. It's up $4 to 151. Monolithic Power, a semiconductor equipment company. It's up $128 for the day. How's that? It's up 40 in the aftermarket. It was up 80 today. Keep in mind it's a $1,600 stock. Floor and Decor. Closed at 48.40. I got it at 43. That's not very good. First Solar stock. $2. Atlassian, symbol team, a destroyed software stock. Closed at 68. I got it at 85 in the aftermarket. That's nice, right? The stock has gone from 240 down to 68 in the last year, though. But it is 85 in the aftermarket. And, of course, as we said, Apple's soon to come out, but I doubt we're going to be around when it does come out, or maybe we'll try. I'm looking to see if there's any others sticking out. Roblox, down $9 to $46 in the aftermarket. That ain't no hill for a climber. Anything else happened today? Interesting enough, not much. We watched the president today, didn't say much. I think they're in the midst of waiting it out right now. We'll see. As we told you, we thought it was genius to do the blockade of the blockade. Whether or not it bears fruit, don't know. But as of this second, at least there's no fighting. Yay. And we'll see how it plays out. I actually, as you know, I've been on his back a little bit, but I give him credit on this blockade. Now we'll see what happens from here. I will say it is going to be imperative for oil prices to go lower. They have had a sharp move up over the last, 7-8 days. And I can promise you, you need oil prices to come down. You need oil prices to come down. Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob paying $30-$40 extra every time they fill the tank. Some cake. Airfares going up. Where did I just see? A European airline, I forgot which one. Was it British Air? That they're adding $350 to transatlantic flight prices because of fuel. Can't blame them. So, for the record, this is, in my humblest opinions, going to be quite imperative for oil prices to come on down. And a lot. Not a little. A lot. Our economy usually gets used to these things, and I think it will also. Still not good. SanDisk, not as bad. Only down $50. It's 5%, no big deal. Was down 90, and Western Digital's 411, down from 434. Do you know that it's being put to a vote? 5% wealth tax. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable that a state would actually do that. California. They're saying one-time 5% tax. They're insane. They're going to lose all their wealthy. Now New York City and that communist They want to tax certain homes over a certain price. They're going to lose their wealthy. And I have to tell you, these terrible wealthy people, these miserable human beings, that's how they're being treated. That produce so much on so many levels, on so many things. These states are going to lose it. The Seattle mayor, the new one, she's a communist. By the way, I don't say that as a pejorative. She's a communist. She basically said, let him go. Let him go. It's sheer insanity. It is sheer insanity. Some of the people we are voting in, and don't get me wrong, you know me, I can't stand any of them. But they're actually people being voted in that are about as anti-business as can be. It's the Seattle mayor. When she was talked about the exodus of wealth from Washington state because of their onerous treatment of wealthy, you know what she said? Bye. And sarcastically. It's unreal. And again, you know me, I can't stand any of them. From the guy in the White House all the way down. And they've all proven me right. But man, oh man, we have some avowed communists running cities and states. And they will run them into the ground if they get their ways. The good news is, in most of these places, they are restricted to what they would try to do. In New York City, very tough to get what he wants done. The money comes from the state. The taxes get approved statewide. It's going to get interesting. I noticed in the Netherlands, they approved, I'm not making this up, a 36% unrealized gain tax on increases of the values of assets such as stocks and bonds, even if they haven't cashed in any of those bets at the end of the year. Insane. That's what the Netherlands have done. I need to check on how much, meaning they usually go after the wealthy. I love Netherlands unrealized gains tax. It doesn't, yeah. It looks like on everybody. To tax unrealized investment gains, annual value increases without requiring a sale. Officials are already working to amend it because of the criticism and the potential for capital flight. Oh yeah. We'll see what happens. They're trying to amend it with a realized gains system. Doofuses. It's amazing to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, as president, I'd have 5 things. Up next, the 5 things and tidbits. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. It would be, let's see if there were 5. Secure border, check. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Less regulations, check. Thank you, Mr. Trump. But of course, he did the tariffs, which are raising taxes. Fight crime, check. Thank you, Mr. Trump. He selectively fights crime. I would not be selective. That's 3. Lower taxes, less regulations, fight crime, secure border. 4 things. I'm sure there's one more in there. Oh yeah, get the hell out of the way. That would be it. Tidbits. As I said, the Netherlands are insane, and we'll see how that plays out. Here's a good one. Are you ready? New York. What do we tell you about how they treat our tax dollars? They don't care because it's not their money, right? New York spent $72 million repairing the stairs at the New York State Capitol. $72 million. There's 72 stairs. $1 million a stair in New York. The state of New York. Just letting you know. Again. And you know what happened with that, right? There's a payoff. You know who was more than likely the contractor? Friends, donors, things like that. You know. The Bidens did it. The Trumps did it. They're doing it in New York too. College tuition. I found this one out. You ready for this one? Let's see. 1983. That's 43 years. College tuition has increased 914% since 1983. Just let you know. And you want to know. College tuition. 914%. Interest on the U.S. federal debt has never been higher. In the first 6 months of 2025 fiscal, interest expense jumped to $623 billion. This is even higher than the massive pandemic response. Over the past 12 months, interest payments were $1.3 trillion. It is the second largest spending category now, only behind Social Security. Hey, just let you know. And there you have it. There's still a strong day for retail after a very weak day yesterday, but I went through 80 retail stocks. I have 4 that actually are on the stronger side. I went through the medical stocks today, including Lilly that was up 80 some odd dollars. Still not making it. And hospitals are really getting hit. I went through the housing stocks. They were up today. Not thrilled. I went through a lot of areas, still not thrilled. But a real good day for the indices. A real good day for the indices. And they look poised to move higher. Doesn't mean they're going to, but poised. And I was thinking today, and this is the interesting part about my equation and the equation. Oil prices are near the highs again, and we're breaking out, or close to. Well, at least the S&P did. That's got to indicate strength, right? Now I'm being told it is really artificial intelligence driven. Okay. You always need some leadership. The financials, which were getting a little squirrely in the last couple of days, had a very good day today. I only have 2 or 3 names that are on the strong side. So that's going to have to get better. But all in all, a very good day, and reaction to earnings. For sure, there are blow-ups. The stock's blowing up. That always happens. But a lot of good reaction to earnings. And of course, a lot of sandbagging. Companies guiding to no earnings growth and then beaten by a mile. I get it. But still, very good reaction to earnings. So we had Meta blow up today, Parker Hannifin, MasterCard, Hubble, Fair Isaac, Jones Lang LaSalle, Choice Hotels, Microsoft, Aon, Wayfair, Entegris, Precision Drilling. There was enough that got hit today. I'm more concentrating on the strength. I have a good amount of names now. A good amount of names that have gapped up, and we'll see if they can go from here. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise they will be well. Sorry about my voice. I'm kind of losing it. Until tomorrow, peace out all. Good night.